Joining us from the Sydney Underwater Gazette Facebook page, Nairi Palmer. And Nairi, you're going to speak about a monster 50 k's off Sydney's coast that's likely to head to our beaches. And it's not a jellyfish, because your Halloween special spooked me.
It's actually a giant ocean vortex.
What the?
It's 400 kilometres across, and it's spinning off the coast of New South Wales. And as it rotates, it brings hot water from the north, and it's moving closer to shore.
Wow. So how's it been formed?
Yeah, the giant eddy's been formed as a part of the East Australian current that brings warmer water from the north. And if you imagine the sea also has weather, the eddy that's formed in the ocean is like a cyclone. But instead of bringing cooler air and rain, it's actually bringing warmer water. In fact, the water in the eddy holds 30% more heat than normal. And if it reaches the Sydney coastline, we could be swimming in water that's 3 degrees warmer than usual.
That is good news for Wussman, who doesn't go in unless it's over 21 degrees. So it's good news for swimmers this summer.
Yes, I'll be looking forward to wearing just one wetsuit while diving. But when you're diving in the water, a difference in ocean temperature feels so distinct. The water gets colder as you go deeper. And sometimes when I'm diving, I can even see the cold water shimmering like a mirage below me, and I just dread going into it. It just sends a chill up my spine. And when I look at my dive computer to see how brave I was, the temperature may have dropped only 1 degree, but the difference is so apparent. And when I go and ascend again, the water gets warmer. So you can imagine a difference of 3 degrees is really actually quite significant.
It'd be like diving in a hot tub.
True. But the difference in the temperature could be a disaster for marine ecosystems. Some fish may be lucky if they can move to cooler waters, but others won't be able to survive it. The warmer water is low in nutrients, so plankton doesn't grow, which affects the small species that feed on it, and the species that eat them all the way up the food chain.
And I hear we're seeing the effects of this on land now.
Yeah, and just days after I heard about this eddy, my sister found a bird on the beach, and it had a short, stubby tail and fluffy, oily feathers. But sadly, it was dying, and it crawled towards her, so she picked it up with a towel, and it snuggled into her and fell asleep in her arms like a baby. She said her heart absolutely melted. And when she took it to the vet, they said it was a short-tailed shearwater, and it was really exhausted and malnourished. But these birds are epic flyers, and they migrate from Alaska to breed in Tasmania. They fly 10,000 kilometres in just 4 weeks.
Whoa.
I Googled, and that return airfare would cost $3,600.
So I can see why it was starving when it arrived.
Absolutely. And unfortunately, he didn't make it. But soon after this, my friends were sharing pics of more and more dead shearwaters. And this strange mass stranding even made the news. And why all the birds were dying was just a mystery. Some sources said that these deaths just happen from time to time, and it's part of natural selection.
As Mufasa said, the circle of life.
Yeah, but these birds live out at sea, and they shouldn't even be coming to shore. And the number of dead birds were far more significant than any other record of the stranding. And rather being deaths in the hundreds, they're in the thousands every day. So something different was going on. And then I saw on the ABC News that the deaths may have been caused by this giant eddy that was putting their food sources out of reach.
Wow, so the massive vortex off the coast was causing the mass deaths. We're chatting away to Nairi Palmer from the Sydney Underwater Gazette. So have people been tracking this?
Absolutely. The CSIRO have been tracking the movement of the eddy with a purpose-built ship designed for marine research. And they're wanting to understand how these large ocean systems form and to see if there's a link between the vortex and climate change. And I'll also be doing reef surveys to measure the impact of the warm water on marine diversity. I'm really worried because scientists have said that the eddy may wipe out our marine life just like the recent bushfires took out so many animals on land recently.
Well, I hope the vortex breaks down. Is that possible?
Yeah, it definitely is, and the CSIRO will be tracking that. And I really hope we get to keep all our fish and our shearwaters, even if it means that I'll be wearing 2 wetsuits all summer.
Well, are you going to be wearing wetsuits today? What's the conditions like?
Well, there's a moderate swell of 1.7 metres coming from the south with a period of 12 seconds. It's not likely to be good today, which is also good for me because I've injured my eardrum, so I can't dive. So I won't get FOMO.
No.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's dire.
You'll just have to sit at home and look at all the fantastic pictures on the Sydney Underwater Gazette Facebook page.
And the rocks in my lounge room.
That's it.
But if you find a shearwater on the beach, just move it to a protected spot to rest and somewhere high because they need an updraft to take off. And hopefully your shearwater will reach Tasmania where it will breed and get fat just in time for it to turn around and fly all the way back to Alaska.
Well, we'll keep our eye on Underwater Gazette. And Nairi, you have a good day not in the water.
Thank you very much, Simon.
Nairi Palmer with the Sydney Underwater Gazette Facebook page.
ABC